Yeah, basically the outdoor stage at Southern.
Yeah, Spirit Park.
Okay.
At
Southern Station.
Southern Station Spirit Park.
Okay.
Brought to you by
The Midtown Merchants Association.
Southern Miss.
Southern.
You ever seen the South Park, the underpants gnomes? Steal all the underpants. Number 3 is profit, but step 2 is the question mark. That's my life, dude. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, yeah, I want more money. Yeah, I want to own a house.
Bam.
Bam!
Bam! Bam! Bam! Bam! Bam! Bam!
Hey, bam.
Bam.
The hottest street boys, hottest street boys, hottest street boys. It's the hottest street boys.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, man, we had a big week.
We did.
It was nice. I actually went and saw, this was Thursday night. I don't want you to get confused because I saw the Wednesday Night Titans on Thursday.
On the Thursday.
So.
At the Thirsty Hippo.
Yeah. My buddy T.Y. is like, no, I think that was last night. Like, let's go. Wednesday Night Titans.
Yeah, I got a text from Brad asking if I could make it, and I was like, man, I'd love to if I was in town, but I went to go see a show as well. But please tell me more about the Wednesday Night Titans.
Well, it's a drummer and a bass player. And what was funny is people were like, man, this is kind of like the Hardy Street Boys. Like, the dynamic's kind of similar. One guy's the bass player's got a luxurious beard. He's dressed up like a wrestler. Like, he's got like the spandex and everything. He's in the boots. He's into it. And then the drummer looks more like the detectives in the Beastie Boys in the video Sabotage.
Okay.
It's more of that style. Oh! So I was like, dude, this kind of is. We might be cousins.
Yeah.
We're comedy cousins. And then they do like, dude, they do videos. They take videos of old wrestling interviews.
Yeah.
And then they make them songs like those memes online. So composes original music and takes like Ric Flair's voice and like pitches it up and down to match a melody, and then plays drums and bass to it. And it's a absolute, like, if you get overstimulated easily, like, probably don't go to that show because it was so much. And I was sitting there and going, this is so much work, like so much work to edit all this together and then have these triggers on your drums, these electronic triggers that also flash lights up on the screen when you hit them. It's insane, dude. I watched the videos online too, and like, yeah, Brad's like, come check it out, you know. And I was like, I text him back like, oh, this is my kind of weird. Like, this is gonna be sick. But then in person was so much better. Like, it was an experience. It was just an experience.
It sounds so artful, you know. It's cool to see people doing something that's like takes it to another level. There's a visual element to it. You're taking something like, you know, I think Mono Neon does it. He'll take interviews or whatever, and he'll make melodies and songs, and he plays the bass to the people talking. You know, everybody's voice has different sounds to it. And I actually watched a person talk about it one time at South by Southwest years ago. But it's so cool. Like, you're talking about wrestling interviews, which are always funny anyway, but also just the showmanship of this group.
It was incredible. They would take breaks and do like little like kind of comedy bits amongst, you know, between the two of them, and then they would do like merch announcements, and then the merch table, like everybody was at the merch table. It was genius. Like, they have a lot figured out, and honestly, they have the capability to rule the internet because it has everything you want. You know, great music, incredible incredible videos. And then also just the nostalgia of the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it was just wild. It was, man, the playing, dude, that drummer could play. Yeah. He really could play. And it was just, it was really impressive, man. And on a Thursday, I got to say, Hattiesburg, we got to go out and make noise. I said this at Crawfish Jam, too. You know, the brass band, right, from Mobile, like, let's show this brass band that we can have a good time. Don't just sit in your lawn chair for this one band.
Time to get up a little bit.
Get up and move and like, don't worry about what people think about you. Like, get up, make some noise. You don't have to be so reserved all the time. You know, you got to let loose sometimes. And this was a situation where I want to see, next time Wednesday Night Titans are in town, go see it. You live in West Hattiesburg? Okay. get an Uber, come down and see it just to say you went and saw something different. Because even if you don't like it, you have a story. You have an experience. So I just want people to take advantage of this city so they can get more experiences. You don't have to travel out of state or out of country to have an experience. That's nice. Don't get me wrong. That's really cool. But like on a Thursday, go see some wrestling. I know lots of people that would have loved that really don't go to the Hippo ever.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, that's me on my soapbox. But you weren't there, but you had a good reason, right?
Yeah, I went to Jackson to see some music performed. I went to the Thalia Hall to see Jason Isbell in the 400 unit, which was awesome. And then the Heartless Bastards opened for him. So it was awesome.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said the Heartless Bastards
Language.
opened for Jason Isbell. It was awesome.
I'm sure the band was trying their best. Why would you call them Heartless Bastards?
That's their name. They're awesome. They're amazing. They've actually played in Hattiesburg before.
Oh, I got you.
Believe it or not.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Super talented. A lot of just amazing.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. What a great show. I'm telling you.
Yeah. What was your favorite part about it?
Well, very, very nice seats, but also I actually got to see some friends from Jackson. Just kind of bumped into some people that I know that live in Jackson and the Clinton area, and it was kind of cool catching up there. And also, it was a really nice venue. It was just like it was a nice auditorium hall. So yeah,
that place is really nice. But yeah,
I'd never been there.
Really?
So yeah,
that's really nice.
It was one thing though. I'll be honest, and then I'm not trying to talk too much smack, but I've been to some shows in Jackson where people like to talk, and I'm like, oh man, like. I don't know what it is. Like, you're here to see the show. People are in their phones recording it, and I'm just kind of like, let's just watch the show and enjoy it. You know, like.
Well, Jackson has live music, but Hattiesburg's. I mean, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to fight about it, but I will. Hattiesburg has a better live music scene than Jackson. Jackson's like the king of house parties and like indie rock, and you have people like the Weeks from the Jackson area. Like that style of music's like killer, but it's not sitting and listening intently, right? You have the university here, you go to a violin concerto.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna chill, right? So I think I think Hattiesburg is a more educated audience. And yeah, I said it, Jackson. I love Jackson.
Yeah.
But I said it. Be polite. Enjoy the show.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny, like, watching a whole show through your phone. Like, I'm never going to forget this. Like, yeah, you are. I have so many videos on my phone that I never look at, and I never will.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'd rather just experience it.
It dawned on me years ago when I watched people record fireworks going off. And, like, I get it. You're like, oh, look at these fireworks. I'm like, who wants to watch fireworks on your phone? Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, you went to the show. You can take maybe like a picture or two. That's kind of cool. Like, hey, this was but like recording let me get this whole song.
I'm so bored.
I'm actually guilty of it. So I've done it before in the past, but it's not something I do enjoy.
But are you just so bored one day? You're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to cycle through all the photos on my phone. I'm going to watch a video of those fireworks I saw last 4th of July.
Yeah.
No, you watch fireworks at the next 4th of July.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Live it up.
New Year's, 4th of July. And if you have video of fireworks on your phone, unless you're my mom, like, what are you doing? So my mom's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
She's the only one. But anyway, it was great going to the Hippo, Jason Isbell. We have so much live music in this town, in this state.
Yeah.
And speaking of live music. Saturday,
this coming Saturday.
Yes. Midtown Sounds.
Is Midtown Sounds.
Yep, at Spirit Park.
Is that what it's called?
Well, it's Southern Station.
Yeah, basically the outdoor stage at Southern.
Yeah, Spirit Park.
Okay.
At
Southern Station.
But Southern Station, Spirit Park.
Okay.
Brought to you by
the Midtown Merchants Association.
Southern Miss.
In Southern.
Brought to you by Hattiesburg.
Yes.
City of Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Southern Station.
Yeah. The Lone Bellow with who's going to open for them?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Taste of 59 South.
Oh, we love Taste of 59 South.
Oh, yeah.
We're a huge Taste of 59 South.
Oh, yeah.
Edward Corley.
Yeah.
The Don. Dude, I love getting to just send him YouTube links to like really cool covers. and he's like the only person I can send that to. And he's like, yeah, I think we're gonna try this. Like, wait, hey, what? Like, most people are like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to enjoy it. They're on a different level, and like, oh, we're going to recreate that. So they are killer. Taste 59 South. If you haven't seen them, when they're playing, you need to go check it out. Which Midtown Sounds Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
It's also, you can bring your cooler too. You can bring an ice chest full of your favorite beverages.
See, that's awesome.
I mean, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
So this is going to be pretty intense. This is like basically you can go to Live at 5.
Yep.
Right on Friday, and then basically go to Live at 5 round 2.
Yeah.
At Spirit Park, a.k.a. Southern Station, a.k.a. Southern Miss, a.k.a. the University. Go Eagles. Yeah. Like,
to the top.
We need more names for that area. So
yeah.
We'll come up with one.
Yeah.
And then there's also Lawn at Lake Terrace. You got Better Than Ezra.
Better Than Ezra.
That's a big deal too. But it's
the lawn.
We're on the same day, so
we're blessed. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. But so much stuff going on, man.
But and you even said Live at 5. Live at 5 last week was pretty awesome. Grits and Greens were playing.
They're so good.
And this week I think it's Cole Hill Band.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Grits and Greens,
man, Jackson changed the game for them. I think.
Yeah.
They were already really good. Ryan has like a very unique voice, but then having a drummer who like. Also, Jackson's playing has gotten better too. Like his drumming sounds good, but then having somebody like that who can sing, and man, it's they just got to stay consistent. They just got to chip away. But you can tell it's their full-time job. There's lots of people who play music, and it's moonlighting. You can tell that's their full-time job. There's a difference, like when bands rehearse and take the time to actually go through it. Like most people are going to go, oh, wow, Grits and Greens just sounds really good. That's cool. Like, I'm telling you from a musician's standpoint, no, they're like putting work in.
Yeah, you can tell they're dedicated. I mean, they've got a travel vehicle. They've got cool merch. They're amazingly talented. They're playing all around. They're actually, like you say, getting out a little bit, playing in Alabama and on the coast and wherever. It's pretty awesome.
But all that stuff means nothing if you don't put the work in to be able to play.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got cool merch. Good job. Anybody can have merch, right?
Yeah.
I like that they're adding that to that's very smart. That is that whole artist package, right? Like, what is our image? What are we putting forth into the world? But you got to be able to play, and they can play, and it's really cool, man. It's kind of a renaissance time in Hattiesburg artistically. It's a time too where I hope bands and musicians. I hope people recognize that these people. I hope people recognize how great these people are before we lose them, because Hattiesburg's gonna be tough to hold on to all this talent.
True that.
That's just the nature of the beast. But and then also I almost forgot this. Thursday we have Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, that's the day this comes out, right?
Yeah, so it's today.
It is Cinco de Mayo, and Grits and Greens as well as Royal Horses and some others are playing at El Rayo.
I know Thomas Jackson's also playing.
Yeah, I think he's opening.
Yeah, so and it's all day. It starts at 11 a.m. and it goes till close, 10-ish. But we're going to be there for a little while. We might be doing some kind of competition. They're being very coy. Y'all want to be involved with it? I'm like, yeah, of course. We love that place, And so they won't tell me. So I don't know. Like, we might. I feel like it wouldn't be a pie eating contest, but like maybe like a quesadilla eating contest.
Ooh.
Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
With that Chihuahua cheese.
Yeah.
It's region, not a dog.
Not the region, not the
dog.
pup.
Totally different things.
All right.
But yeah, that'll be fun, man. And I'm just basically gonna see how many strawberry basil margarita flights I can drink and mix with water, and
of course, safely
and
responsibly,
and not call into work the next day.
There you go.
That's
that'll be fun.
Let's be honest. I want everyone to be honest about things. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those strawberry basil margaritas
so good.
are delicious.
They're sweet. Get it?
Yeah.
Because they actually
are. Yeah. They're like me.
Not
strawberry.
Oh, not sweet.
Yeah.
Just all right. Anyway, well, we got Brett and Adam from Mississippi Home Buyers on the show today.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Home, what are they? Are they realtors?
Yeah, so we're going to learn about real estate, like how to buy a home, kind of talk about like millennials like me, I own like my car and like a PlayStation, and that's I hate to admit it, but not much else.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, how's a guy like me buy a house? You know, you got to get that. What do you call it? It starts with an M.
It's a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what?
Mortgage.
Yeah, because that keeps all the bricks together.
No, that's mortar. You're thinking of mortar.
You sure?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, anyway, we're gonna find out a lot about how to buy a home, what the market looks like.
What does the market look like?
I don't know. Is it a buyer's or seller's market? I do say that at parties, like, to sound like smarter. I'll just hear one person say, "Oh, it's a seller's market now," and then I'll talk to 10 different people and be like, "Oh, it is a seller's market." And everyone's like, "Drew's smart," and be like, "Yeah, he's drinking out of the cocktail straw." Like, is he? So, after this, Mississippi home buyers. This episode's brought to you by
BAM!
Mississippi Home Buyers. It's a real estate solutions company based out of Hattiesburg, a family-owned business that focuses on helping homeowners find solutions for problems like foreclosure, divorce, inherited property, title or lien issues, or anyone else that just wants to sell their property hassle-free.
Hassle-free.
So who is Mississippi Home Buyers, you might ask?
Who?
Part 1, Adam Big Sip Johnson.
Big Sip.
Lifelong student of real estate and negotiating, co-founder of the Hattiesburg Area Real Estate Investors Group, featured on podcasts such as Carrot Cast, Wholesaling Houses Elite, Bigger Pockets, Real Estate Disruptors, and more. He's a helper, not a haggler. You know that dude. He's not a real estate straggler.
Whoa.
Yeah. I added the second one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Bars.
I feel like we're getting better at this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brett Murdoch, not originally from the Pine Belt, neither are we, but a resident of Mississippi for most of his life, been actively doing real estate investing for over 5 years, closed and completed over 300 real estate transactions. That's 300 more than us.
Whoa.
Also a managing member of the Hattiesburg Real Estate Investors Group, living out, whoever is generous to the poor lends to God, he will repay him for his deeds. Sounds righteous, sounds like a guy who knows how to get rid of your house. Like, not rid of it, just like...
To sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a legit transaction.
Yeah.
So, Mississippi home buyers, check them out. Click the link in the description below to find out more.
BAM.
Bam! 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 Bam!
Bam. Bam.
Hey, bam.
Bam. Hey, we got some new guests on the show. Who could it be? I'm about to tell you, yo. It's Adam and Brett. If you're into real estate, you need to don't sweat. Don't sweat the small stuff. They're gonna tell us all about it. Yeah, don't hesitate. He's about to talk some real estate. Yeah. Let's get into it. Now, on to the interview portion of the show.
Keep the fade going. Keep it going. Nice dissolve. That was great. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't hesitate. We're about to get into some real estate.
Yeah, if I said it that clearly.
That's a line for sure. You could sell that for real. That's awesome. Well, we have Brett and Adam of Mississippi Home Buyers. How are you guys today?
Doing good. I was just thinking about how I'm probably going to steal that little line he just threw out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Casually.
You can have it for $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. It's a killer line. Don't hesitate.
I mean, we'd probably buy it if we could, do it over time or
Let's
something.
go.
About all at once.
I'm just waiting for somebody to throw their pinky up.
Yeah, we'll take $1 million in Argentinian pesos. But look, what we really want to get into is real estate. So you guys, you're not just realtors. We talked about this a little bit earlier offline. What is it that you do? What is Mississippi Home Buyers?
It's a really good question. We've been thinking a lot about how to explain that. Because we really do. We do a wide variety of things. And actually, we don't even have our real estate license. We're strictly on the buy and sell and rent, finance, things like that. So we actually don't buy and sell for anybody else. But what we do is provide, I would call it a non-traditional option. Most people think of selling their house now as you list it, you put a sign out in the yard, and you do some repairs, and you wait for somebody to come look at it that wants it bad enough, and then they try to get financing and go from there. That's the traditional way. That's probably 95% of the way things are done. But there's that other 5% that, it could be divorce, a foreclosure, an inherited house. It could be somebody that just is in a real hurry, or somebody that just doesn't want any headache or hassle. We have a lot of that where people just say, look, I only want to show one person. I only want you to go through it one time, which you can't do on a traditional. What did I miss? Probably lots of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's just about the handful of what we do. I would say there's a couple other handfuls, but we don't have enough time for all the extra handfuls.
Right. So like something like, I've never been married, but like something like with a divorce, how would you help somebody out? Like that's a very stressful situation. It's not nice, not nice to talk about, but how would you help somebody out who's going through that and they have a house that they're trying to sell?
You want me to? Yeah. So I think the big thing, and it can be for any number of reasons or several of these reasons, but typically in our experience, people getting a divorce are not real on friendly terms, know.
Yeah.
The communication alone is sometimes what brings us to the table. Just being able to talk to the husband, talk to the wife, and be that intermediary sometimes.
Oh wow!
Most of the time, free of charge.
Yeah, we don't charge any extra for the counseling sessions.
Right.
But it's a very real thing. And then a lot of times, what happens is one spouse doesn't want to pay for everything. So sometimes they get behind. Sometimes they may be current on payments, but they may be behind on maintenance. Right? Like, oh, there's a little leak in the roof. Well, I'm not paying to fix it. Well, I'm not paying to fix it either. And then now there's an issue.
Right.
So there's a lot of things like that. And then sometimes it's just for the speed of closing out the divorce so they can get rid of the marital assets and go their separate ways.
Right. Well, and that's like the biggest asset probably in a marriage too. So it's going to be the hardest to get rid of.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to get the divorce over with, you can holler at you guys.
Right. And we can do it quick.
Right. Well, I see what you mean where it's not like that's not really traditional. It's not something I'd ever really think about. But it's one of those things too that you don't have to think about until you have to think about it.
That's right.
And and you don't want to have to deal with it. So what else do you do? Like maybe for a lot of our viewers too, kind of in our age bracket where they may not think they could own a home. Right. A lot of us rent. I joke about like I own my car and like a good toothbrush, but like what being able to own a home, so many of us are told like we're just not going to be able to do it, or we'll never be able to do it. What would you say to those people?
Why don't you go? So oddly enough, and I think this surprises a lot of people, I actually don't own the home that I live in. I rent the house that I live in,
and neither do I.
And he rents the house that he lives in, which we'll buy. I mean, we'll probably have our hand in 500 houses across the country. MS Home Buyers will probably do about 100. But he's just now getting ready to buy your first home, as far as like personal use. So you want to talk about what you've been...
There's a couple different options out there to where maybe just the one person you've dealt with at the bank that you've banking at for your whole life, they might not have that product. So actually meeting people and people in the community to where you can stretch out and have some more people in your network to maybe there's some other products out there that will, make it a little easier for you, or options that, like for me, self-employed, right? You need to have a certain amount of time of self-employment, a couple tax returns to be able to show, to where there's other options out there that they can maybe, just take 12 months of your bank statements. So there's different options out there, and not everybody knows a lot of those options. We've run into a lot of those options because of the volume of houses that we do. We've seen a lot when it comes to that.
And I think a lot of people are probably closer than they think. Yeah. And again, it goes to finding the right people that understand what they're doing, right? So it's, lenders are a lot like any big box store around here, right? Like you may go to Walmart and they have certain line of products, And then you may go to Target. They may have a few of the same thing that they sell, but then they also have different things that they sell. And lenders are a lot of the same way. Not all of them have access to all the different products, but finding somebody good that's got some options, a good mortgage broker, like for instance, our guy we were talking about earlier before we started recording, we've got a guy in Petal, and he'd been renting his whole life, owned his own business, never thought that he would be able to own a house. And what we did is we leased it to him. I guess it's been about 2 years ago. We leased it to him. He paid us the normal rent, but what we did is we gave him the option to buy it. And so we set a price, which, I think now that house is probably worth $150. He's buying it for $125 because that's what we agreed to 2 years ago. But all he had to do was establish his business a little bit more and have increased income. And that was it. His credit was good. Everything else was good. His, financial situation was really good. He was very, smart and disciplined about what he did with his money, but he just needed to show more income. That was it. And so he got to make this house a home while he was waiting to own it. So I think either this week or next week we'll close and make it official, and that'll be his first ever house that he owns.
Wow, that's amazing. That's cool. And you said he got a certain loan too. Was this a service member you're helping out?
Yeah,
wow. He's
retired military, and he went through. Which this is my first time dealing with him, but there was a company called Veterans United, and I want to say they're out of like Springfield, Missouri, or something, but. He called them. They specialize in just veteran loans. So if you've served in the military, that's a really good call. Minimal down payment. I think they even have some stuff that they do to help with credit repair and stuff like that, where they may say, hey, you don't qualify today, but if you do this, this, and this, we can get you there in 6 months. And I think that's what it really goes back to. In our experience, now we've had a few that you pop their credit score and it's a 525, and hey, listen, it's gonna be a long battle.
Yeah.
But I think with our experience, most of the time, people that can't get it today are so much closer than they ever thought they would be.
Yeah.
It's just one or two little tweaks to their situation, and they're approved for a home loan.
Well, and you don't want people giving up before they've exhausted all options, So what is okay, let's say somebody makes $50,000 a year, right? They own their own business, but they don't pay themselves from their business, right? They have more money sitting in the business. Is that an issue when you try and get a mortgage? Because I know that is an issue. If you're not paying yourself, you don't have record of more income, that can actually negatively affect you trying to get a loan or paying for the house?
It can, and I'm not a mortgage broker or anything. But in our experience, usually they want 2 years of tax returns.
Okay.
And then a lot of times they will create an income for you. So you may not have paid yourself, but you may have paid taxes on money that you earned, even though it's still sitting in your LLC or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So the one that I just went through, they took 12 months bank statements, my personal and business, and put them together. And then came up with a income that I was bringing in a month, averaged out. And so then they were able to offer me a couple different loan options, products.
Right.
And I think on $50,000 a year, as long as there's not a bunch of credit cards and car payments, you can probably get a $150,000 house, $180,000 house.
That's substantial.
For sure.
Yeah. So what is nowadays, what does the market look like? Because we joke about people talking about buyers and sellers market, and you just kind of it's a seller's. Yeah, I just go along with whatever everybody's saying, I really don't know. But what does the housing market look like right now?
It's going up. I don't think it's stopping. I think more in the local area, Hattiesburg area, I think the market is kind of, I wouldn't say plateaued, but it's sitting at a decent spot right now. I think
it's slowed ahead.
I think it's slowed. I don't think values have gone down any. Mm-hmm. Now in other parts of the country, we're seeing values completely climb still. Some places in Florida, my sister and them just sold their house 2 years ago, and made a substantial profit on what they thought they were just going to try to break even with, in a couple of years because they're in the military. So just depending on where you are in the United States, which here in Hattiesburg, we're really protected. There's, 2 universities, there's a couple hospitals, Camp Shelby. So our market kind of stays kind of floating. It doesn't spike steady. It doesn't spike as much. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I would say it's definitely a seller's market. But we are buyers for a living, and we're doing a pretty good job. So it could be, a buyer's market as well,
Right. But that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. So like the traditional side, right, that 95% of house sales that are listed with a realtor, people come look at it, they go get a loan, it's just your normal cookie cutter transaction. Mm-hmm. That is, it's still hot. Our 5%, it's about the same as it always has.
Well, you've got people that are always going to, be in a sticky situation, behind on a few payments. There's always those people out there that need help, that need to understand the options that they can, that are out there for them. Because a lot of times we got to put $50,000 in the house to sell it. The realtor comes over and says, you got to fix all this before I can list it. They don't know what to do. That's where we step in and we provide options that aren't traditional.
Yeah. So when you are I guess when someone's trying to buy a house, how do they weigh, you want to think of it as an investment, but it also needs to be like a place you can make a home, right, and enjoy. How do you balance those two things, like not just trying to get it to where, like me, if I want to live in it, I'm not going to flip it. So it's not necessarily, I'm not looking at it as a financial decision. I'm looking at it as like a life decision. What's the difference between those two things? Because you say you also can flip homes, right?
Right.
So how is it different? How's that strategy different between those two situations?
Well, really, we encourage all of our friends to look at it both ways. Because you don't want to just buy one, right? Like most of the time, you're going to buy one knowing that at some point in the future, you're going to get a different one. Mm-hmm. I always tell everybody to look at it from both, right? Like if it's one you're going to live in, make sure you like it. The area is good. It'll be good long term, right? Like the area is not going downhill. The school district's still good, all that kind of good stuff. But there's all kinds of stuff where you can, depending on the situation, you can house hack. So like let's say you, for instance, right? Not married, no kids, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. So you could go get a FHA loan on a fourplex or up to a fourplex. Have
which is a 3.5% down. 3.5%.
3.5% down, and you could live in one unit for a year and rent the rest out and basically live for free. And then after that year, you've got a fourplex with the most amazing financing you can get.
Right.
We have some friends so there's a tax benefit too. If you live there for 2 years as your personal residence. So if you let's say that you got a deal on one that needed some work, and you fix it up, live there for 2 years and sell it, anything you make up to $250,000 is tax free.
Married, $500,000.
Wow. So if you do that 3 or 4 times correctly, you could end up with a house that you didn't even really have to pay for. You got it with tax free money.
Right.
So I always encourage everybody to look at it from both sides, right? And if something happens, you couldn't live there anymore. If you had to move, if you lost your job, whatever, could you rent it and make it make sense? Because I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, you want something that you like, that you're going to be happy with, but always having that backup plan.
Right, but it's subjective too, because what's good for you right now might not be good for me right now, but what's good for me might not be good for you. So for me, I may be looking at it always an investment because that's what I do for a living, and I'm going to continue to buy houses.
It'd be weird if you didn't.
But for you, right? But for you, it may be somewhere just to lay your head and make sure you have a roof over your head. Mm-hmm. So it may not be such a serious investment decision on just somewhere for you to have a home.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it's fluid.
Well, it's very much a case by case basis,
right.
Like what people want, and it's important to have people who understand. Y'all clearly understand, and I'm learning so much right now. I have a fourplex, starting to think, I mean, the parties in a fourplex, Jamie. I mean, it could be intense. But
I'd show up.
Yeah, bro. We could all just get a fourplex, but we'll talk.
One unit apiece.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I want to get more into this, but we're going to take a short break, and after this, more Mississippi home buyers. I went to the Thirsty Hippo on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I saw a band called Wednesday Night Titans.
Okay.
Even though it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
And despite the confusion, had an amazing time.
Yeah.
But here's my beef.
What's wrong?
More people in Hattiesburg have to support out-of-town talent when they come here. Because if we don't, they're not going to want to come here.
Yeah, they really should.
You got to make some noise when they say, hey, stand up. You can't just like stand there and go,
Yeah, I've seen it happen firsthand.
like at least clap.
Yeah.
Like don't freeze up.
Come on.
Do something.
Please.
Go to a place like the Thirsty Hippo when somebody from out of town comes in. They book incredible talent. It was only $12. You got $12. I don't even want to know what you spent $12 on at Amazon today. Get an Uber. Have an experience.
It's that drummer in you. It's that fire that burns deep within your soul.
I don't want to give club owners any excuse to not book out-of-town talent. That's it.
It's great to have venues. We need to support them.
I'm thankful we have people like Brad doing things like that, man. We need more of that. So there's no joke there.
Yeah, that's real.
Doesn't always have to be funny. Okay, so this is cool getting to talk to you guys, but you know, we have a whole podcast. Like it's a whole show. What if I don't have a podcast, but I want to like find out more information on, you know, what real estate is, how to be smarter with my money. What services do you guys offer?
So right now, I guess probably has it been 8 years?
I think we're just over 5, maybe?
Just over 5. Okay, I was thinking
5
7
or 6.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we've been running this meetup, South MS Real Estate Group. We met at Magnolia State Bank for a while. Now we're at the Sigler Center.
Actually, this month we're going back to the bank.
So missed that email, but we're going back to the Magnolia State Bank,
Like
second
me.
floor. Get the memo? Whoops.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do a meetup the third Thursday of every month. We bring in a guest speaker, different forms of real estate. I guess last month was mobile homes, like how you can buy mobile homes and cash flow them and retire. A guy came up from Florida actually and spoke. And so we bring in people to kind of, you know, just explain the different aspects of real estate and how that can help you and grow your education so that you will know how to put your money here or there. Or if you're interested in investing in real estate, that's something that you can come there, meet up with us. We can kind of get you going in the right direction, or at least put you around the people that are doing it in the area, and then help you kind of take your first step.
And there's a wide range in those meetings. There's people that, you know, they found us on Meetup because they wanted to know about real estate, and they're brand new. We have people that, we've got some people that come, they've been doing this for 50 years. I think I'm, 20, you're about 10. We have realtors, attorneys, a lot of other investors, and contractors. And it's just a good place. Like that's one of the things that we prided ourselves on with the meeting is it's a really comfortable place to come learn and network.
And ask questions.
We don't charge anything. We've never done any charges or membership dues or anything like that. We open it up to the public, and we enjoy meeting new people. We have, some days we'll have 30-something. Some days we'll have 70-something.
So you say like ask questions. Okay, cool. I feel like I'm pretty smart. I have no idea what questions I'm supposed to ask. You know you ever seen the South Park, the underpants gnomes? Steal all the underpants. Number 3 is profit, but step 2 is the question mark. That's my life, dude. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, yeah, I want more money. Yeah, I want to own a house. But it's not even like that I'm doing something wrong, right? Or that I'm a bad person or what, or I think people get I think people get credit shamed a lot, you know, thinking like, oh man, I messed up. And when it was a lot of times, especially with medical bills, like you had no control over that. You got sick and whatever. But like, what questions should people be asking? Like what's the first step for like the most like beginner, what's the most basic first step people can take towards like just growing their money, right? So that they can start to think and operate in this world that you guys are so comfortable in.
I think the big one for us was, I mean, obviously getting educated, right? We talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's a really, really good book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Mm-hmm. It's a weird read at first because it's got almost like a biblical language to it, just in the way that it's worded and the stories go. But I mean, it's very specific in what to do to grow your money, like how to save, how to invest. Talks about doing some charitable stuff with a portion of it, and then living on it like you normally would, like making sure you save some for yourself and actually spend some on yourself. Those are really good, but honestly, the thing that comes back to me over and over and over again is surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah, I was going to say that because when you surround yourself in that atmosphere, you're going to hear something that may spark your interest, like a fourplex, right?
Yeah,
living for free. Who doesn't want to live for free, right?
Yeah.
So that may interest you, and then you're like, "Hey, I heard y'all talking about this in the beginning of the meeting. Can you explain this a little bit more? You know, catch us after the meeting. We usually end up somewhere, Keg and Barrel or something afterwards, and everybody gets together and continues conversation. So I think that your first step is to put yourself in a position to learn and to have people around you that you can ask questions to. Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it too is really identifying what you want to accomplish, right? Like that's a big one that we really haven't talked about a lot yet. Well, you touched on it when we were talking about like some things are great for you right now, some things are great for him right now, and those two may not be the same thing.
Right.
And I think that's a big one. So like we actually have a lot of investors that we work with too, where they have what we call lazy money sitting around, right? Instead of putting it in the bank for 0.5%, they give it to us, and we do our house deals with it. So we have people that they want to grow their cash. So we use their money to invest in flips and things that are shorter term, like cash payout. We have some investors that don't want any cash back. They want to put money out and get a residual every month. So we're able to buy longer term stuff with their money, right? But I think a big one is really figuring out what you want to accomplish. Is it trying to build more cash? Is it building cash flow? And then finding the right people. Like who are the right people to go talk to?
Right.
And that's one of the things, like if whoever's listening is local, they can come to that meeting. There's no charge or anything, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, which we can help you figure that out too. But really setting you up with the right people. So if it's like, for instance, you, right? Like we've been talking this whole time, and you're just kind of curious probably about what your options even are at this point.
Correct.
So now I think the next step, I would put you with a good mortgage guy or girl, gal, lady, whatever.
Person,
good mortgage person. And just let them say, okay, here's your income, here's your credit, here's what's even available to you.
Right.
But a lot of it comes back to finding that right person to go talk to.
It's funny that you mentioned it's all about, environment. I remember hearing that growing up too. And regardless of discipline, right? So you could be in real estate, you could be a musician, an athlete, you could be, it all comes back to the people that you're around, And
Every
whether
time.
that's for better or for worse, right? Like, I was around these people, that's when I wasn't doing great. And then I was around these people, and I was killing it. I'm crushing it. It's so huge, just the people you surround yourself with. And then also finding like it could be a job or a hobby or an activity, right? That brings you to better people too,
Yes.
not just searching for people. So that's really interesting that you bring that up. I think it's funny. That's not really a coincidence, but yeah, it does seem like, it just seems like it's a lot to take care of. I think, do you find that it's important to let people know that they're not going to figure this out in one day?
Yeah.
That's probably setting that expectation is probably the biggest lesson we learned, because we've taught several people how, or at least led them in the right direction to where they can learn how to invest in real estate. And I think that's probably the number one expectation that we have to drill in at the beginning, because some people end up getting it and getting their first house deal under contract and done in a month, and then some people it's 2-3 years. Some people make $5,000 on their first deal, we just had one of our buddies, his first deal, he made over $40,000 on one deal.
But it took a year.
Took a year. Mm-hmm. So it's just the expectations. You're definitely, it can happen overnight, but it's just like an artist or an athlete, right? You just got to put yourself, they got to get in the right circle for that to happen overnight. Well, and I also think I want to, like, what I'm getting from this too is this is not like get rich quick, man. This is work. Mm-hmm. This isn't, I think people get mixed up, like you talk about an athlete, somebody makes millions of dollars in in one payday, that's great if they can. That's great if that happens. Right. But like what you're doing, you're having to be consistent. You're having to really work at this. What do you find that you have to be most consistent with? Because like I would think discipline in spending would be a big deal. I mean, consistent is really the key. So whether picking a couple, I guess, main focuses and staying consistent with those. So with your, with your spending, with your time management, those things are great things to start out with, but the key is just being consistent. I mean, it's definitely not a get rich quick, but your life can change in 12 months if you're consistent. And I would say focusing on the things that make you money is a bit, which sounds obvious, right? Like, well, yeah, that's why we're in business. But right, you just started a business and y'all do the podcast. Right. How easy is it to get caught up in editing and say, oh, I've been working so hard, but really there was some other stuff you needed to get done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the curse of the entrepreneur, right? Is that there's all this busy work and we each get to choose from whatever we want to do that day. Right. Mm-hmm. But I think the big thing is, like for us, is talking to clients, talking to investors, and managing our team. Like that's our everyday thing. Right. Yeah. IPAs. Yeah. Income producing activities. Yes. Oh, I thought it was India Pale Ale. Well, that's for after 5. That's for after 5 o'clock. Yeah. That's the second bottle. Right. But no, I think that's the biggest one is really focusing in on the activities that actually bring customers in the door and get you paid. Right. Even more so than probably anything else. And even, like it's a struggle, right? Like my bookkeeping and stuff is one that I've always paid all the bills. I still write paper checks. I think I can log into my bank account online. I'm pretty sure. Right. But like I've been doing that so long, and that's one of the things. Like we have a team member for that kind of stuff. She's awesome. I trust her with my money more than I trust myself. But it's just turning that over, right? And making those decisions. So that's the really big one, is making sure that you're focused on stuff that's going to make you money, not just stuff that makes you feel like you were busy all day. Or like just, breaking rocks into smaller rocks. Like, it's hard work. I'm working hard. Yeah, look at all this stuff I did. Yeah, look at all these. Well, what'd you do? Well, these big rocks, now they're small. Yeah. Like, okay. So I have double the rocks. This is once again, so now profit. Like, I don't know what step 2 is. Yeah, dude. That's very real. That's very real. And it's I do like the belief, that's why I love this country, is that, if I work hard enough, I can make it happen. But it is important to also have the same, to actually have knowledge and be educated, because if you work hard, sure, there's lots of people that work hard but aren't growing their money, That's right. And that's not necessarily how, me personally, I don't really want to live that way. So, man, this has been amazing. This is like, I feel like we've learned so much. You learned a lot, Jamie?
Yes. Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, this really has been great. So if people want to follow you on social media, all those links are in the description below. They can check you guys out. Do y'all have anything? When's the next meeting coming up? May 19th, I think. It's the Thursday. I think it's the 19th. And we're actually going back to Magnolia State Bank at 6 p.m. Okay. All right. And that's free to go to. People can just hang out. It's going to be a good crowd. I think the speaker's going to speak about buying houses, banking and loans, and thinking outside the box. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with us, taking the time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. This was awesome. Fun. Yeah, this is great. Jamie, can you play us out?
Sure.
Hey, what did you eat before this?
Y'all gotta get your assets right. Gotta get your assets tight. Get your assets right. Get your assets tight. Talking buying and selling. Buying and selling. Get your mortgage on. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this is great.
Talk to your mortgage officer. Do what you do. Don't hesitate. Talk to these guys about the real estate. Yeah. Adam and Brett. No sweat. Don't sweat the small stuff. Seriously, get into the real estate game now. Because I told you.
Helper not a haggler.
Yeah.
He's no real estate straggler.
What?
Yeah, that was the show. Now it's time to go. With the outro. Here we go.
You need to have massive play at your next closing.
We could do that.
You just bought a house.